Even with two chains as big as these, the branch stores must not look like branch stores. Now, here's the mall. At this end, we have Thompson's. And across the mall like this, Harry, I want a wall of water. I'd say about a 5-story drop. And at this end, we block in Hastings, moving sidewalks here and along here. Now, underneath the whole thing, a sunken garage. I want all-out hospitality for motorists, you understand? Have you got the ratios, Bill? 85%.
The secret's in flexible interiors, Lee. We can deliver Hastings an 85% selling area out of a total of 175,000 square feet.
That's the best news I've heard all day. Now, over here on the east...
5 minutes, Mr. Fisk.
Oh. All right, tell Carol to turn him. I'll be there in a minute.
Your briefcase and overnight bag already aboard.
Thank you. Danny, you're the inventor on this team. Why don't you invent us a clock stretcher, huh?
Okay, Lee, 1 clock stretcher coming right up. How many hours a day do you want?
Well, let's try a 28-hour day. Maybe that'll do it, huh? Bye, gentlemen.
Oh, Miss Prentice isn't in, Mr. Fisk. That motivation research project, did you ask her to coordinate with personnel?
Oh. Well, tell her I'll call her from Chicago tonight, huh?
Have a safe flight, Mr. Fisk.
Thanks, Barbara.
Said he'd call you tonight.
From Chicago, yes, thank you, Barbara. Would you get Ben Hopkins on the phone for me right away, please? Hello? Ben! Happy day. He bought the concept. I called him just before he was taking off. Yeah, sure. So now we can terminate all that outside research program as of this minute, 10 a.m., official Phoenix time. We're going to get our backstop right here within the organization, train him on the job. Oh, and Ben, will you please throw out all those old-fashioned motivational research tests? Honestly, I'm up to here with conformity. Well, what we need is somebody to stand up to Mr. David Leland Fisk. Who? Me? Now, Ben, that's awfully sweet of you, but I don't really stand up to him any more than anybody else. I try to be honest with him, and he's kind enough and flattering enough to indulge me, but that's all. Okay, Ben, you've got a green for go. College? Oh, absolutely. That's a prereq. Who? Todd Stiles? Yale? Working as a laborer on the Mumford Park project? But why, Ben? Why as a laborer? Well, he certainly does sound like a nonconformist. Yes, Ben. Yes, I would like to meet him. Fine. Thank you, Ben.
Anything? The call.
What call?
From the front office.
Oh, I told him no. Hot.
Hot. And you're just the cat who can cool it.
You're really curious about that call, aren't you?
Yes, I'm really curious about that call, especially since the head office is like 5 miles away and they don't even know we're alive. I'm curious.
You know, I think you should walk right into her office and say, Miss Terry Prentice, my name is Buzz Murdoch, and I work for the David Leland Fisk Company, too, and that gives us something in common, you know, like a foundation, something to build on. So why don't we design a shopping center together or a little project in the country? See? Like that.
That's crude. Crude. With a girl like this, you come on with style. But don't worry, I'll think of something. Now, look. Are you going to tell me about the phone call or not?
That was just the omnipotent hand of personnel beckoning old Dad. They said, Eli, bring your sheepskin and come on down. We want to give you some tests.
I know, but for what?
I don't know. I told him I wasn't interested. I had enough tests at Yale to last me a lifetime, and I want to get my calluses standing, not sitting. Yeah, that's not bad. You know, that might work. That just might work.
All right, boys, everybody hit it!
Aren't you even interested?
I don't think I can endure the strain of the suspense.
Terry Prentice. I just figured out a way to get you to her. Talk about style. She has so much style, it's fantastic.
Yes? Oh, Todd Stiles? Yes. Please, send him in. Mr. Stiles? Well, you have a rather unconventional way of entering an office, Mr. Stiles. Oh, that is, if you intend to enter. Or are you just going to stand there leaning against the wall?
I'm farsighted.
Well, in that case, we'll just have to raise our voices, won't we? Oh, don't worry about the chairs. They're treated. Well, the Yale shark net seems to have got a bit tattered. Apparently things are getting through. Here it is. Graduated magna cum laude 3 years ago. What happened?
Well, it's hardly the kind of thing that you talk about in an office, you know?
No. No, I don't know, Mr. Stiles, but I'd like to. Very much.
Well, if we could be someplace alone together. You see, it's been a terrible 3 years, and I'd like to talk about it, except it, you know, it wells up in me.
Please try to tell me, if you can.
Maybe later, when we know each other better.
Well, I'm afraid that might be too late, Mr. Stiles. Do you know why we're giving these aptitude tests?
Well, what I was told, that you are looking at people in the company and testing them because somebody is going to get a special kind of job.
The right person could make this the most important job in the company. Except, of course, for Mr. Fisk's position. The vice president of our Eastern Division is retiring this year. We're looking for his replacement. We want a dedicated person, someone that we could start grooming now so that when the year is up, the vacancy can be filled expeditiously. Now, perhaps you're wondering why we don't make this replacement with one of our executives from the Home Office. Well, you see, these men are architects, Mr. Stiles, not businessmen. Candy? We're interested in your background in business administration. As a matter of fact, that was my major, too. Wharton School of Finance.
Well, where would the world be if nobody was home watching the shop, right?
So, I suggest if you're interested in competing with the others, if you'd like to take this aptitude test I've designed, which in turn will help us determine your outstanding characteristics, your possible breaking point under pressure, your internal and external motivations, your career potential, then perhaps it might not be a bad idea for you to tell me why it is you have become a laborer.
When you chase yourself from one day to the next, when you're both the Pied Piper and the kid that digs the music, the kid that follows all those way out notes, you go where it takes you. No matter where, no matter what. Like now. When I finish my little story, you're gonna be back in that leather chair and your eyes are gonna be as tough as that leather. And you're gonna ring for the state militia and have me tossed right out of my job, too. But I don't care, because it's been worth it. And I'd do it again tomorrow, if I could. You see, from the first day I saw you, 3 weeks ago on that project, I almost fell off the 11th floor, until I walked in here a few minutes ago and wondered to myself, she's the controller? I wonder what she controls. Just this company? Or herself, too? From then until now, I've stayed up nights, I've missed meals, just trying to figure out a way to meet you. Why? I really don't know why. That's the funny part about it. I didn't even know what I was going to say when we met. It's just that now and then, certain people have just got to get together. And then, well, you just see. Maybe something, maybe nothing. But the important thing is that it has to be given a chance. Okay. So I've given it its chance, you know? I'm sorry if I push things. I'm not really Todd Stiles. That's my buddy. You see, he told me about the call and, well, my name is Buzz. Buzz Murdoch. And don't push the panic button because I'm leaving.
Mr. Murdoch.
I got shot down before I was airborne.
Even without the photo, you would have crashed. I used to date boys from Yale. Mr. Murdoch, we're giving these aptitude tests this afternoon at 3 o'clock. Main conference room. Be there.
No, please.
Please.
Will you stop chattering and get dressed? A pair of live ones like Beth and Bibi, they're like wild geese flying by. When you hear them honking, you have to be ready to fire.
At the top of the test, it said they wanted to find out what your idealized image of yourself is. How come?
That means what kind of a guy do you think you are? That helps them decide what kind of a guy you really are.
I know what kind of guy I am.
That's what you think. They've got the tests all worked out, zeroed in on the real you. What about yourself do you esteem? What do you disparage? How are your reserves of security? How well is your life justified? Not just in words and dreams, but in actions. Do you have any secret sources of shame? Enduring regrets?
You remember her name is Bibi? Bibi, okay, Bibi.
Once she runs your test results, she'll have you bagged and tagged, everything but fingerprints.
Oh, Bibi?
No, Terry Prentice. Now, what do you know about her?
What do I gotta know?
Well, enough to make it an even match.
Oh, this is not serious.
Hark, geese.
What'd you say mine's name was?
Bibi.
What'd you say mine's name was? Buzz. Bibi and Buzz. Buzz and Bibi. Bibi Buzz. Wow.
Buzz. Buzz, old friend. He wouldn't do that to me.
He has this very sick mother, high temperature.
High cheekbones, too.
Oh, no, that wasn't his mother. That was his sister. His mother...
Does the silence embarrass you?
What silence? I've been listening to you.
But I didn't say anything.
No?
Your speed is all forward, isn't it?
Well, if I had eyes in the back of my head, I might go reverse sometimes, but I can only see forward.
Would you like to turn on some music?
No, I don't need it. Do you?
No, a person could learn to dislike you intensely.
Well, you didn't understand what I meant about the music, did you?
I understand you completely.
You mean because of the test?
Mm-hmm.
Let me ask you something, Miss Prentice. Can you tell me by all those words that I marked today what I meant when I said I didn't need music? You bet you can't. See, I don't need music when I'm happy. And I'm happy with you. Right now, sitting here. Who knows where, who knows why. And if you really listen, you can hear all kinds of music in the air. Brass bands and summer excursion boats. Bongos from Basin Street. It's jazz from 42nd Street, or some stylish kid belting out a ballad on a penthouse saloon. Hi-fis from coast to coast. I can even hear saxophone cases slamming shut at 2 a.m. and tired sidemen crossing parking lots, wiping off the windshields when they're wet before they drive home. So, who needs radios?
Now, would you like to kiss me again? No, of course you wouldn't. I laughed at you. But then I guess I can't expect to ever find a man that well adjusted.
Oh, you mean this was all part of the test?
Reserved solely for the man with the highest score. You, Mr. Murdoch. Hey!
Why don't we play a little more of that multiple choice jazz, okay? Situation. You're in the desert in a car with a man, and he throws your keys into the night. Now, which do you do? Mark the appropriate box. A, you look for the keys. B, you walk 25 miles back home. Or C, you wait further developments.
Hi, Lee.
Hi, boys.
Mr. Fisk?
Buzz Murdoch?
Right.
Lee Fisk.
Glad to know you.
Good. I thought we could get this out of the way more comfortably here in the open than in the office. Anyway, every Thursday at 9, I always come out here to mess up my quota of clay birds. It's about the only half hour the office ever leaves me alone. Either they think I'm out here getting rid of my hostilities, or they know darn well if they came out here and bothered me, I'd shoot them. Did you ever shoot skeet?
Tin ducks and clay pipes. It's Coney Island.
Oh.
Qualify me?
Well, I don't know. Background like that, you might make me look like an amateur. Here, Model 42. It's a 410 gauge. Most of the guys shoot with a 12, but I kind of like this. It's sporty. Like to give it a try?
It'll be a great day for the birds.
Come on. Over here.
Mark!
Look, what you want to do is to start with your gun pointed over toward the house there. And then as the bird comes across, you swing with it. Watch, like this. Mark! See? Whenever you're set.
Mark!
Well, Terry says you scored some kind of all-time record in the aptitude test. Says you're the most aggressive person she ever met. Mark. This candidate, and I'm quoting now, this candidate is volatile, earthy, intuitive, decision-oriented.
Mark!
A man of singularly strong views. Unique in a time when most people prefer to be murky or moderate. Sound like anybody you know? Mark. You know, for 6 months, I've been combing the country for somebody just like that. Every graduating class from coast to coast. Trouble is, the ones I've met are already so absorbed in the struggle to be thought well of, to be accepted, that they're afraid to be incompatible. Either that or they figure they're so far ahead of the game they can shuffle corporations around like a poker hand and draw to an inside straight.
Mark!
What I need is somebody to take over from Smitty, our vice president back east. Someone with enough drive to come after my job one day. Mark! Are you the man?
What do you think I know about advanced management techniques or urban planning or architecture or mortgages or any of those other kind of foreign words that Terry whispered in my ear?
That's our job, to teach you. Your call.
Mark!
Nice leading.
Look, Mr. Fisk, I'm one of your laborers. I've had 14 jobs in the last 16 months. I get up in Duluth and go to bed in Detroit. I've never made more than $122.50 a week. When they pushed me out of high school and put that diploma in my back pocket, the bells rang from the Bowery to Riverside Church. Nobody ever figured I'd make it, least of all me.
Everybody gets born the same way. Mark!
What I'm trying to say, very simply, is that, well, this whole deal's like gotten out of hand. Mark! I mean, I saw a girl I wanted to get to know better. So I got into her office under false pretenses. The next thing I know, like, there's a board meeting, and I'm spending the morning at the gun club with the president.
You mean this all began as a pickup? You and Terry?
Right.
Mark! Every once in a while, one does manage to get away, doesn't it?
Yeah.
I've got a hunch about you, Buzz. Fair enough. $500 a week to start. If you make it, your first boost will take you to $50,000 a year. After that, who knows? But don't let the numbers dazzle you. Think before you reach, because there's a price. With me, and with all my people, the division between work and leisure, between discipline and freedom, all gone, erased, wiped out. No boundaries, no place to hide. With this outfit, you don't build a life, you unbuild. You strip down your private life and you start fresh, as you must with any project. And then you go, out and up. If the native material is good enough, you stay up. If it isn't, the whole project's a washout. You decide, Buzz.
Wasn't I right? Isn't he a find? Well, he's a bit raw, I grant you, but so is copper before it hits the smelter.
Did you and I, Terry, ever talk about cabbages? Or only about kings?
Why, I never knew you were interested in cabbages.
I remember the things my father used to tell me. One thing in particular. He said in this world, no one who's strong can expect to be liked. The most he can hope for is to be respected.
Did something go wrong on your trip, Lee? Is Evans trying to threaten us with a zoning change?
Terry, do you know something? You never really talked to me.
Not more than 12 hours a day, 7 days a week. Did, this young man, Buzz, did he tell you about last night?
No. He told me this all started because he was interested in you.
Oh. Lee, you had me worried for a minute. Well, I couldn't understand what you were driving at. You think I'm pushing him because I let him take me out. Now, Lee, honestly, I'm surprised at you. You should know me better than that. When have I ever let my personal life interfere with my business life? Or, for that matter, what personal life do I have?
Murdoch is here to see you, Mr. Fisk.
Ask him to come in, please. Come on in, Buzz.
I thought about your offer. Okay.
Any doubts?
Yeah. How about you?
Yes, I do.
Well, I'll try. Try hard.
We'll all try.
You've been ducking the issue all evening, haven't you? All right. We're alone now. Why didn't you speak up in that meeting this afternoon? For 4 weeks, you have sat in staff contributing absolutely nothing. Just see the computers working behind Lee's eyes. Well, he's beginning to question the wisdom of my recommendation. Didn't we work out a whole new concept for the south side of the mall? Now, I'm sure Lee would have been delighted and impressed.
Well, you see, there was only one thing wrong with that. You see, it was your concept, not mine.
What's the difference?
Well, then why didn't you present it?
Because, my darling, I wanted you to get the credit.
Why?
Promise me the next meeting you'll speak up. Darling.
Yeah?
Will you do it?
No.
I'll handle this through the California division, Bill. So much for something old and something blue. Anything new? Any brainstorms? Any leads, tips, hunches, straws in the wind? Anything from anybody on new projects? Any private thinking?
Well, I've been looking at swampland and bottomland, and I think I've turned up with a track just outside of Dorset, Florida. It's 1,200 acres that seems to be overlooked. And I think it might make a profitable marina community with water frontage for each lot. I didn't turn this over to development, Lee, because, well, it's still in the speculative stages. But, well, I've drawn a map there so you can see. It doesn't look like much, but you can see that it can be laid out with 70 canals. Now, the town of Dorset owns 400 acres of this tract, but they're in financial trouble, and they're looking for revenue everywhere. Now, I'm told, although it's still supposed to be a secret, that they'd be happy to let their acreage go for $37,000. Now, the state owns the rest of the tract, but they are on a mosquito control drive, and I think if we move in there behind a contract to fill that whole swamp, we can probably negotiate an option very easily in Tallahassee. If we use a a portable hydraulic pipeline dredge, and we both widen and deepen that initial tideland there, and we pump the fill into the swamp. I figure we need 7 feet for a basic foundation to build on. Now, including labor, maintenance, amortization, and depreciation on equipment, I've got some duplicate figures for you, Lee. The cost of the fill shouldn't run more than 20 cents a cubic yard. Now, pre-development price, that's including the bulk heading and the utilities, can be bought in for $70 a front foot. And we can sell 100 by 160 foot lots for $150 a front foot. Now, that's $50 below the nearest marina community, which is in a strip on the Gulf, which can't compare to this spot for weather, view, or accessibility.
Well, you seem to have thought this over pretty fully. Any idea what the profit might be?
$5.25 million.
I see Mother let him out tonight.
I'll be right back.
Well, did you come here to join us or just to observe us at play?
Well, I got your message at the executive house. Got a problem?
How about a drink?
Well, short one?
Tight schedule?
Yeah. Lee and I fly to Tallahassee tonight.
Yeah, I heard a rumor about that. Some kind of a big deal you cooked up?
Beer.
Beer.
How does it seem to live in the palace?
Oh, Lee always pulls you in to stay at his place before you close a big deal. It's staff policy.
Like they say, policy is the best honesty.
Look, whatever's bugging you, why don't you just say it?
I knew it was going to be hard, Buzz, but not this hard.
You trying to tell me I've changed?
Everybody's changed. Remember Beth? She hated bowling. Well, you ought to see her now. Of course, we can never get rid of BB, so she had no choice. Beth had to take it up, but she turned into an absolute fiend. One lousy strike after another.
You're trying to tell me I'm not the same, right?
I'm trying to tell you I'm leaving. Peanuts?
No, thanks. Why?
Why not? They always knew someday you'd have to find a new boy to drive you wherever you were going, or I'd have to find a new passenger. If that's not what we were traveling around the country for, then what? So one day one of us or both of us would finally light. You drive around looking for truth, and sooner or later you're going to find some. So, one for the road.
Where you going?
You ought to know, just going.
When?
Tomorrow. You've got a plane to catch, haven't you?
Yeah. Keep in touch, huh?
Sure.
We're loaded with the latest equipment, and we'll tape the weather. Run it on a loop, change it every 15 minutes. That way, any boatman in the area can just dial the up-to-the-minute scoop on weather conditions. Hi, Buzz.
I gotta talk to you. Alone. Please.
I'll call you in a few minutes, huh?
I'm coming out of the storm cellar, Mr. Fisk.
Mr. Fisk?
The storm cellar I'm coming out of is my conscience. I mean, what kind of architecture is that? A storm cellar. A man's conscience should be clear, above the ground, like one of those glass houses you build, right?
Well, people who build glass houses
shouldn't wear a millstone around their neck. Look, I'll try to make it as simple as possible. I don't want my first million. I don't want my second. I don't want my 25th. In short, I quit. I pass.
Drink?
No, thanks. I made out this check to the company, payable for $2,600. That's what I saved in the 3 months I worked here. I didn't earn it, so I can't keep it. Look, I'm sorry if I came in like I mean, it's not really your fault. Actually, knowing you and being around you, I'm grateful. Thanks for trying to teach me and for giving me the chance, but the last voice you listened to in that big debate about whether you're going to be yourself or someone you don't like, well, that's got to be your own voice, doesn't it? No one else's, but your own.
Will you ask Miss Prentice to step in, Barbara, please?
Yes, Mr. Fisk.
Look, I told you I didn't want to debate it. Now, look, nobody's going to change my mind.
Now, don't tell me, let me guess. You've just bought Albania and paid for it with Russian rubles.
I left a glass out for you, Terry.
Thank you. Albania.
His severance pay. Only he's severing us.
I'm sorry I missed the farewell address.
You're taking it hard.
When did you find out?
Well, I didn't think that he could have dug up a deal as brilliant as the Dorset Marina in just 3 months. You had to be the one behind it, Terry. Of course, I didn't really know till we got to Tallahassee. Too many pieces missing down there. And without Terry, Buzz didn't have the answers.
I left those pieces missing deliberately.
Somebody want to tell me the name of the game?
I want Smitty's job. The Eastern Vice Presidency. That's the name of the game. For 6 months, I combed through all those applications with you. Nothing. Well, I knew you wouldn't rest until you had some kind of a straw man. So I sold you the idea of promoting from within, and that's when Buzz walked in. Straight from heaven. I worked with him. I built up your respect for him, and then, when I thought he was ready, I got him to present the Dorset plan to you, as though he had thought of it all by himself. Credit Buzz for fighting me, but debit him for not fighting too hard.
Well, why didn't you just speak up for yourself at staff?
Do you remember that merger I brought you last year? You got cold feet. Why? Because I'm only supposed to control the money, not create it. And what about the year before, the Mitchell deal? You stood to make at least $2 million on that one, but because it came from me, a mere woman, you hesitated just long enough to let another company snap it up.
Oh, well, Terry...
You needed a lesson, Lee. Well, I gave you one. And made you $5 million at the same time. Buzz, everything that happened all the times we spent together, Darling, I never said or did anything that I didn't feel or mean. But don't you see, that's just part of me. Part of what I am. You never got beyond that. You never found the most important part of my life. If you had, if you had had the insight to take that part prisoner too, then you would have known all of me, and then I would have forgotten everything. My job, my ambitions, everything but you.
Well, you're not alone, Buzz. I've loved her for 5 years. You know, there's never been anything that I wanted that I couldn't have or didn't have simply by asking. I know how ambitious you are, Terry. And I know that if I'd asked you to marry me, you'd have said yes, simply because you couldn't afford to pass up David Leland Fisk, the president. All right, today we're leveling. Maybe too much truth is better than no truth at all. Terry, I want to marry you.
Are you giving me a choice?
What, between marrying me and Smitty's job?
Uh-huh.
Yes. Yes, you have a choice.
Smitty's job.
All right. You've got the job. But the wraps are off, Terry. I'm coming after you, and I'm going to marry you if it's the last thing I ever do.
And I'm coming after you, Lee. Your job,
So long,
your
Tigers.
lift, and not by marrying you, but by promoting you upstairs, chairman of the board, if it's the last thing I ever do.
If you think you can kick me upstairs to chairman of the board, young lady, you've got another thing or two
But
coming.
listen, the thing I
You
was
want
trying
to-
to...
$11 from Denver to Phoenix, that's not bad. There's just one thing I'd like to know. Why did you send the wire collect?
Well, suppose I had paid for it.
Yeah.
Where's the urgency?
This has been a Screen Gems film presentation from Columbia Pictures. Herbert B. Leonard, executive producer.